25 degrees above normal. That's not a typo. A massive warm-up is about to reshape America's weather map in ways we haven't seen in years. But here's what the forecasters aren't telling you, and you need to hear this in the next 30 seconds because lives depend on it. Right now, as you're watching this, a dangerous snow squall line is forming over Chicago. By 5 p.m. tonight, it will unleash conditions so severe that visibility will drop to 0 in under 5 minutes. Pennsylvania, Ohio, Western New York. If you're traveling tonight for New Year's Eve, the next 2 minutes could save your life or the life of someone you love. But that's just the beginning. Stay with me, because at minute 5, I'm going to reveal the shocking pattern flip that's coming in January, something meteorologists are calling unprecedented. And at minute 12, you'll discover which states are about to face the perfect storm of ice, snow, and severe weather all at once. Let me ask you something. Do you remember where you were on New Year's Eve last year? God blessed us with relatively calm weather across most of the nation, but tonight? Tonight is different. As we close out day 365 of 2025, we're witnessing something remarkable in the heavens above. Here's the first number you need to burn into your memory. 15 to 25 degrees. That's how much above average temperatures will climb across the heartland of America starting January 5th. From Texas all the way up to Nebraska, from Salt Lake City clear over to Nashville. The Creator is shifting the atmospheric patterns in ways that will melt snowpack, trigger flooding, and change everything we thought we knew about this winter. But don't celebrate that warm-up yet. Here's why. Before we get there, we have to survive the next 72 hours. And for millions of Americans, those 72 hours are going to test your preparedness in ways you can't imagine. At exactly 5 p.m. Central Time tonight, a razor-sharp cold front will slice through Chicago. The high-resolution models are showing something truly alarming. This isn't your typical winter squall. This is a wall of white that will move like a freight train from Chicago to Fort Wayne to Cleveland. 5 minutes. That's all the warning some communities will have before blizzard conditions hit. Indianapolis, you're not off the hook. You might see a dangerous mix of rain and snow that will freeze on contact. Columbus, you're looking at midnight. Pittsburgh, also midnight. And here's the twist nobody saw coming. This system is going to drive all the way down to Charleston, West Virginia by 4 or 5 a.m. Now let me tell you something that's going to sound unbelievable. By Saturday morning, some locations in western New York could see 23 inches of additional snow. 23 inches. On top of what's already on the ground. Some areas south of Buffalo are looking at 14 inches. West of Toronto, 13 inches. Northern Lower Michigan, 8 inches minimum. And here's where God's creation shows its power. The Great Lakes, those massive bodies of water that He placed in the heart of our continent, are about to become snow-making machines. Lake-effect snowbands will bury entire communities. Several feet of snow in the traditional snow belts. This is the kind of snow that collapses roofs, traps families in their homes, and shuts down entire regions. But remember what I promised you at the beginning? The best part is coming at minute 5, and we're almost there. Because while the East freezes, the West is experiencing something completely opposite. Los Angeles is about to get hammered. And when I say hammered, I mean thunderstorms, potential tornadoes, and 2 to 4 inches of rain in areas that are still recovering from Christmas storms. Here's a question that should make you think. Why would the Almighty allow tornadoes in Los Angeles on Christmas and potentially again on New Year's Day? In all my years of watching weather patterns, I've never seen anything like this. It's as if the normal rules don't apply anymore. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a marginal risk for Los Angeles. That includes Santa Clarita and Long Beach. The Rose Parade, it's going to be incredibly wet and potentially dangerous. Power outages are expected. Debris flows near burn scars are a serious concern. Evacuations are already underway. Now here's what I promised you at minute 5. Pay close attention because this is the game changer. Starting January 8th, we're entering what I call the volatility zone. The GFS model is showing trough after trough slamming into North America, cold air from Canada trying to win the battle, warm air from the Gulf pushing north, and right in the middle, storm system after storm system after storm system. Some of you will see massive snow, some of you will see severe weather outbreaks, some of you, and this is the scary part, will see ice storms that paralyze entire states. The pattern is setting up for what could be one of the most active Januaries in recent memory. Let me break this down step by step so you understand exactly what's coming. Step 1. The flash freeze happens tonight. Temperatures plummet. Milwaukee hits 0 degrees. Minneapolis at or below 0. Northern Minnesota, -5. With wind chills dropping to -20 or lower, any rain or snow that falls will freeze instantly tomorrow morning. St. Louis, Indianapolis, Columbus, you're all looking at 15 degrees tomorrow morning. Black ice everywhere. Step 2. The big warm-up begins January 5th. That ridge I mentioned earlier builds over the plains. Temperatures soar 15 to 25 degrees above normal. All that snow we just accumulated, it's going to melt rapidly. And when snow melts that fast, you get flooding. Rivers will rise, basements will flood. It's a mess waiting to happen. Step 3. The activity explodes after January 8th. Here's where it gets really interesting. We're not just talking about 1 or 2 storms. We're talking about a parade of systems, each one different, each one potentially dangerous. Now, let me ask you another question, and I want you to really think about this. When was the last time you checked your emergency supplies? Because what's coming in January is going to require preparation, not panic, preparation. The atmospheric river hitting California right now is bringing 2 to 4 inches of rain. Again, soils are already saturated from the Christmas storms. The ground can't absorb any more water. So, where does it go? It runs off, fast, creating flash floods, mudslides, and debris flows in areas near recent burn scars. Here's a number that should shock you. On Christmas Day, Los Angeles had a tornado. An actual tornado. The odds of that happening are incredibly small, but it happened. Now, we're looking at the potential for another one on New Year's Day. What are the chances of tornadoes in Los Angeles on both Christmas and New Year's? It's almost like creation itself is trying to tell us something. The convection tomorrow over Southern California is going to be real. These aren't just rain showers, these are rotating thunderstorms capable of producing tornadoes. The timing? New Year's morning through midday. Right when millions of people will be outside celebrating, attending parades, traveling. Now here's something I want you to remember, and I'm going to repeat this because it's that important. The pattern flip coming after January 5th is not temporary. This is a major shift, a big one, and it's going to bring opportunity for some and challenges for others. For farmers in the Midwest, that warm-up could be beneficial if it's not too extreme. For cities buried under snow, it's a relief. But for emergency managers looking at potential flooding, it's a nightmare scenario. For power companies worried about ice storms in mid-January, it's all hands on deck. Let me paint you a picture of what could happen. Imagine warm Gulf moisture streaming north. It collides with cold Canadian air right over Missouri or Illinois. The temperature at the surface is 31 degrees, just above freezing. But 1,000 feet up, it's 28 degrees. Below freezing, that's the recipe for ice. Devastating ice that snaps power lines, brings down trees, and leaves millions in the dark. We could see that scenario play out multiple times in January based on these patterns. Here's where faith comes into this. As believers, we know that the Lord controls the weather. From the storms that he calms to the winds that he commands, nothing happens outside his will. Job 37 verse 6 says, "For to the snow, he says, fall on the earth, and to the downpour and the rain, be strong." We're watching that play out in real time. But he also gave us wisdom and the ability to prepare. That's not fear, that's stewardship. Taking care of the blessings he's given us, including our families and communities. The temperatures tomorrow morning are going to be brutal across the northern tier. Upstate New York will be dangerously cold, but not quite as cold as Canada, where we're looking at -25 degrees. Raw temperature. Before wind chill. That's the kind of cold that can cause frostbite in minutes. Now we're at minute 12, and I promised you something important here. Which states are about to face the perfect storm? Here it is. The battleground states for January are going to be the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes region, and the Central Plains. These are the areas where warm and cold air will clash repeatedly. Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. These states need to be ready for rapid changes. Snow to rain to ice and back to snow, all within 48 hours. Kentucky and Tennessee could see significant ice accumulation in mid-January if the setup is right. Arkansas and Oklahoma might deal with severe weather outbreaks as warm air surges north. The potential for large hail, damaging winds, and even tornadoes exists. Meanwhile, the Northeast will continue to get hammered by lake-effect snow. Buffalo, Syracuse, Erie, Watertown, these cities know lake effect well, but this winter they're getting more than their fair share. Some seasonal totals could exceed 200 inches in the traditional snow belts. Here's a question that might make you uncomfortable, but it needs to be asked. Are you ready? Not just physically with supplies and emergency kits, but spiritually? These weather patterns are reminding us that we're not in control. We like to think we are, with our technology and forecasts and warnings. But ultimately, we're at the mercy of forces far greater than ourselves. Psalm 147 verse 16 through 18 tells us he gives snow like wool. He scatters hoarfrost like ashes. He hurls down his crystals of ice like crumbs. Who can stand before his cold? He sends out his word and melts them. He makes his wind blow and the waters flow. That's exactly what we're watching unfold. The cold he's sending tonight. The warm-up he's sending next week. The storms he's allowing in January. It's all part of his design, and our job is to be wise stewards who prepare, help our neighbors, and trust in his provision. Let me give you some practical steps right now. Step by step. Number 1. If you're traveling tonight in the Midwest or Ohio Valley, delay if possible. This squall line is no joke. Zero visibility, whiteout conditions, multi-car pileups. It's not worth the risk. Number 2. Stock up now if you haven't already. Bottled water, non-perishable food, batteries, flashlights, medications. The January pattern could bring power outages that last days in some areas. Number 3. Check on elderly neighbors and family members. When temperatures drop to 0 and below, vulnerable populations are at serious risk. A simple phone call could save a life. Number 4. Prepare your home. Clean gutters before the ice comes. Trim dead branches that could fall on power lines. Make sure your generator works if you have one. Test your sump pump before the snowmelt flooding begins. Number 5. Have a communication plan. When the power goes out and cell towers are overloaded, how will you reach your family? Have a rally point. Have backup plans. Now here's something fascinating that most people don't know. When lake effect snow really gets going, it's not unusual for snow to fall at rates of 3 to 4 inches per hour. Think about that. In a 12-hour period, that's 36 to 48 inches of snow. No plow can keep up with that. Roads become impassable, communities get cut off. The Upper Peninsula of Michigan, they're expecting over a foot of snow from this system. For them, it's just another winter. They're prepared. They know how to handle it. But for areas that don't usually see this much snow, it's chaos. Here's another twist in this story. The energy from tonight's system is going to phase with energy in the Atlantic Ocean. This could create a deepening low-pressure system off the coast. Cape Cod, Boston, Maine, especially extreme eastern Maine and areas around St. John, you could see a heavy dumping of snow. Not a classic nor'easter, but close enough to cause problems. The key with all Clipper systems like this is what happens after they pass. The lake effect machine turns on, and that's when the real snow starts falling. Buffalo has seen this movie before. So has Cleveland, so has Erie, but it never gets easier when you're buried under feet of snow. Let me take you back to the bigger picture now, because we can't lose sight of the forest for the trees. Yes, tonight is dangerous. Yes, this weekend will bury some areas in snow. But the real story, the one that's going to dominate headlines all January, is this pattern flip. January looks volatile. I'm going to say that again. January looks volatile. Multiple severe weather systems, multiple ice storm threats, multiple big snow events for the Midwest and Great Lakes. It's like the atmosphere is making up for lost time. And here's something that should give you pause. With these rapid temperature swings, warm to cold, infrastructure suffers. Roads buckle, water mains burst, power grids get stressed. It's not just about the weather anymore. It's about how our systems cope with extreme variability. For those of you who lived through the great ice storms of the past, you know what I'm talking about. Weeks without power, trees down everywhere, a landscape that looks like a war zone. That's what we could be facing in parts of the country if these ice storm setups come together. But here's the thing. We've been through this before. America is resilient. Communities come together. Neighbors help neighbors. Churches open their doors as warming centers. That's who we are. And that's how we'll get through whatever January throws at us. The GFS ensemble models are in pretty good agreement. After January 8th, it's go time. System after system lining up. Some will be moisture-starved and fizzle. Some will overperform and shock everyone. That's the nature of active patterns. High variance, high uncertainty, but definitely high impact. Now, I want to address something that might be on your mind. Why does this matter? Why spend 15 minutes talking about weather patterns? Because weather affects everything. Your commute, your heating bill, your safety, your ability to get to church on Sunday, your livelihood if you work outdoors. This isn't just academic, this is real life. And as people of faith, we're called to be wise. Proverbs 22 verse 3 says, "The prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it." Being prudent means paying attention to forecasts, heeding warnings, and preparing accordingly. So, what happens after all this craziness? Eventually, patterns stabilize. Winter transitions to spring. Life goes on. But January 2026 is shaping up to be a month we'll remember for a long time. Here's my final question for you, and I want you to really consider this. What will you do differently knowing what you know now? Will you check those emergency supplies tonight? Will you adjust travel plans? Will you reach out to vulnerable family members? Knowledge is only powerful if it leads to action. The short-term forecast after New Year's is actually quiet. No big storms to track. That's good news. Enjoy the calm before the next round of activity. Use that time to prepare, restock, recharge. Spend time with loved ones. Give thanks for the blessings we have. Because when January 8th rolls around and that volatile pattern kicks in, we're going to be busy. Very busy. Tracking storms, issuing warnings, helping communities prepare. It's going to be all hands on deck. One more thing before we wrap up. The Rose Parade tomorrow. If you're planning to attend or you know someone who is, be aware, heavy rain, potential severe weather. This is not going to be a typical sunny California parade. Ponchos, umbrellas, and a backup plan are essential. And for our friends in Southern California dealing with another round of heavy rain, my prayers are with you. The evacuations near burn scar areas are the right call. Debris flows are deadly. Don't take chances. If authorities tell you to leave, leave. Your life is more valuable than any possession. As we close out 2025 and step into 2026, we do so knowing that our times are in His hands. The weather will do what it does. Storms will come and go. But our hope and our security aren't found in perfect forecasts or calm conditions. They're found in the one who commands the wind and the waves. So enjoy your New Year's celebrations. Be safe tonight if you're traveling. Check the forecast regularly and get ready for what's shaping up to be a very active January. Coming up in the next video, we're going to dive deep into those January 8 systems. I'll show you the specific dates to watch, the regions most at risk, and the types of severe weather each system could produce. You won't want to miss it because the details matter, and I'll have exclusive model data that will blow your mind. Until then, stay weather aware, stay prepared, and may God bless you and keep you safe in the days ahead.